And they shall make an ark of acacia wood. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. And you shall overlay it with pure gold. Inside and out you shall overlay it, and shall make on it a moulding of gold all around. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in its 4 corners. 2 rings shall be on one side, 2 rings on the other side. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold. You shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, that the ark may be carried by them. The poles shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And you shall put into the ark the testimony which I will give you. You shall make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, and 1.5 cubits its width. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold. Of hammered work you shall make them at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub at one end, and the other cherub at the other end. You shall make the cherubim at the 2 ends of it one piece with the mercy seat. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and they shall face one another. The faces of the cherubim shall be toward the mercy seat. You shall put the mercy seat on top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I will give you. And there I will meet with you, and I will speak with you from above the mercy seat. From between the 2 cherubim which are on the ark of the testimony, about everything which I will give you in the commandment to the children of Israel. You shall also make a table of acacia wood. 2 cubits shall be its length, 1 cubit its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. And you shall overlay it with pure gold, and make a moulding of gold all around. You shall make for it a frame of a handbreadth all around, and you shall make a gold moulding for the frame all around. And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are on its 4 legs. The rings shall be close to the frame, as holders for the poles to bear the table. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be carried with them. You shall make its dishes, its pans, its pitchers, and its bowls for pouring. You shall make them of pure gold. You shall set the showbread on the table before me always. You shall also make a lampstand of pure gold. The lampstand shall be of hammered work. Its shaft, its branches, its bowls, its ornamental knobs, and flowers shall be of one piece. And 6 branches shall come out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms on one branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on the other branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and so for the 6 branches that come out of the lampstand. On the lampstand itself, 4 bowls shall be made like almond blossoms, each with an ornamental knob and flower. And there shall be a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches shall be of one piece. All of it shall be of one hammered piece of pure gold. You shall make 7 lamps for it, and they shall arrange its lamps so that they give light in front of it. And its wick trimmers and their trays shall be of pure gold. And it shall be made of a talent of pure gold with all these utensils. and see to it that you make them according to the pattern which was shown you on the mountain.
All right, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Baha Shem, Yahweh Shah, Baha Shem, Racha, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole free elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. All right, we get into the book of Exodus, chapter 25. All right, and we have, of course, the NLT, simplified, but we also have the KJV at the bottom of the screen. All right, so, and it says offerings for the tabernacle, and the KJV says offerings for the sanctuary. All right, and there's about 4 different sections in this chapter. All right, so let's go and get into it, and we actually start with a precept here. Let's see what it says. Let's read the KJV. It says, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering, all right, of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering." All right. So every man that give it willingly. I want to read this, see what it says here. Exodus 35, verse 4 through 9. So it says, "And Moses spake unto all the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which Yahweh commanded, saying, Take ye from among you an offering unto Yahweh, whosoever is of a willing heart," right? Meaning giving freely, right? Of a willing heart, "that can bring it, an offering of Yahweh, gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair." All right. Now this is in Exodus 35. But it's okay, because what we're about to read actually is going to mention some of these things, especially that goat's hair. That goat's hair comes into play in the next chapter. All right. In which other things we use, with like goat's hair and other things like that. But in particular, that goat's hair is going to come back up. So it says that ram's skins dyed red, and badger's skins, all these things show up again, and shittim wood, and oil for the light, and spices for anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, and onyx stones and stones to be set for the ephod and for the breastplate. All right. And so what you're reading here in Exodus 35 is pretty much the assembling of all these things that the Lord commanded. And what we're reading here, Exodus 25, is pretty much just these things being given, all right, to Moses, all right, before they were actually put, into play. They were given to Moses first, because you have to understand, Moses, was going up and down, in and out the Lord's chariot, dealing with them, all right. So we'll go to the NLT. So it says, Exodus 25 and 1, Yahweh said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to bring me their sacred offerings, accept the contributions from all whose hearts are moved to offer them." See? So whoever, whatever, thing you want to freely give, all right, you give to the Lord, okay? So it says, there's no really stipulations on that. That's why, it's called what? Where is it at here? "They bring every man that giveth willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering," right? So it's pretty much I think it calls it in somewhere else, free will offering, if I'm correct. But anyways, let's keep going. It says, "Here is a list of sacred offerings you may accept from them." All right. So whatever be given, all right, there's certain things that have to be given within these things. All right. So it says gold, silver, and bronze. All right. And notice these are all metalwork. All right. Earthen metals. Okay. Gold being the highest of that status, silver, and then you have bronze. Then it goes on to say blue, purple, and scarlet thread, fine linen, and there it is right there, and goat hair for cloth. And once again, that goat hair comes back up again later in the next chapter when we're dealing with the curtains, all right? But when you're dealing with the blue and the purple and the scarlet thread, those are all what they would call, royal colors, all right? Blue, scarlet, all right? Sometimes people use crimson, but scarlet, and then you have purple, all right? And those are all, known as royal colors, okay? And also when you're dealing with them, because I think we spoke about the coming from the Canaanites, all right? We had the Tyrian purple. Okay, so they would, I think it was like a kind of shellfish. All right, they would take this kind of shellfish and they would get the dye from the shellfish and make the, the color. All right, for the shellfish. It was called Tyrian purple. Now, I'm not saying they were actually making a Tyrian purple, but there were different ways to make the dyes back then in those ancient times. All right, which these are still businesses today. I'm just making a point. But so these things aren't just, it's just like it's some random color, all right, like the Lord chose, okay? He chose these colors, for specific reasons. So it says blue, purple, and scarlet thread for fine linen and goat hair for cloth, all right? So it says tanned ram skins and fine goat skin leather, all right? Acacia wood, okay? Now, if we go down here to verse, here it is, 5, and ram skins dyed red and badger skins in shittim wood. All right, and the shittim wood, all right, comes from that. You see those trees, like a lot of times you see it always in Africa. The word there's shata. You see in Africa or like the prairie lands, they got those weird looking trees. Or I mean, well, they're not weird looking to me, but let's just see if we can pull it up here. All right, acacia tree, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I pull it up. I'm trying to get the word there. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna web search that. All right, let's go over here. Bam, there you go. You see the acacia tree. I know we've seen those trees a lot of times. You see it's showing like the prairie land, the lions laying out in the sun, and stuff like that. Hyenas cackling around and stuff. You look, the giraffe right there. So yeah, those are those trees, right? Which is why I mentioned Africa, because a lot of times you see the little zebras right there, and a lot of times see it. Like for those of us that watch the nature shows, you see these trees a lot. You definitely see these trees a lot. If you watch nature shows, you definitely see these trees a whole lot. All right, but there you have the acacia tree. As a matter of fact, we'll go back and pull up acacia wood. All right, because that wood is something like you would see modern days on like a ranch. Right, that's a style that they would use like a lot in ranches and stuff like that. There's right there. You see that wood, beautiful wood, right? You see, look at it, that dry ashy look, but it's like a beautiful wood. You see. Um, So that's a good one right there. Beautiful, right? So let's go back. All right. So the acacia tree, the acacia wood. All right. So it says shittim wood, or shata is the word was in Hebrew. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was shata. All right. Not to be confused with shaitan. All right. Shaitan is Satan. Shata, not shaitan. All right. So it says oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense. Yeah, oil for the light because of the here it is right here. Olive oil for the lamps. All right, straightforward. You know, the golden lampstand. Because like I said, there's like three other portions to this. So there's four different portions to this chapter, and it's going to deal with all these different things. All right. The table. Actually, I think in this one is the golden lampstand. As a matter of fact, we just look at here. Golden lampstand. So the Ark of the Covenant, table of showbread. Yeah, I was going to say that. I was making sure though. Yep, there's a golden lampstand. So yeah, those are the other three portions. And this first portion, as you see, we're dealing with says offerings for this particular sanctuary. All right. So as we continue on, it goes into those other things. So yeah, oil for olive oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil, and the fragrant incense. Right. And it says here the same thing: spices for anointing oil and for sweet incense. Right. And like even today, brothers make oil. All right, and then it reminds me, I gotta make some more. I done ran out of. I think I got a little tiny bottle because what I did, I separated some. Just doesn't mean it's gonna turn out that way. But I had a bigger bottle I made, and then I took one of my old I think when I ran out of my, I think it was like oregano oil bottle. All right, I wash it out, and I actually put some of that oil that I made in that bottle, and stored it away in the bug out bag. But I don't want to go and use it because hey, you never know. You might be out there on the run if that's part of your lot, and if you happen to be able to grab your bag, hey, I got oil in my bag, all right, so I can anoint myself, while I'm out there, in the elements, all right, being that pilgrim. And if not, then it's okay. But at least I thought ahead. But yeah, so yeah, but it makes me, when I mention that, it makes me think I gotta make some more because I'm actually running out. All right, because it's good to anoint yourself. All right. Um. So yeah, olive oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil, and the fragrant incense. All right, which men constantly like incense as well, and which different nations do that really. But the purpose behind it is what makes the difference, right? We burn ours, on the altars of the Lord, for purposes, those reasons, right? Other nations do the same thing, but to their false gods and idols. So you get the point. It says onyx stones, all right? Onyx stones, all right? Beautiful black gemstone. And other gemstones to be set in the ephod and the priest's chest piece. Now, this is a whole other thing within itself, this topic here. As a matter of fact, Lord will, if that what the Spirit allows, we'll do an extra lesson on this. All right, going into the creation, because I'm pretty sure we're going to run across in these chapters as we keep going. But so we may, yeah, we'll see how how it comes into play. It's whatever the Spirit allows. As a matter of fact, might be a good idea because who was it? As a matter of fact, I think it was Elder Yashawamba. He went into that. Um, Real old lesson, but dealing with the Urim and the Thummim, all right, that all ties in with this ephod, this breastplate that would the priest was supposed to wear. Honestly, really, Aaron, all right, the high priest, all right, was supposed to wear, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that incorporates, as we continue through these chapters, and maybe I'll go and look at that lesson anyways, just for a refresher for myself, right? So it says onyx stones and other gemstones to be set in the ephod and in the priest's chest piece, right? Which will be 12 stones, of course, according to the 12 tribes of Israel, the different stones there. It says, have the people of Israel build me a holy sanctuary so I can live among them. And we got to see what this says in KJV. It says, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. All right. And I want to get the word sanctuary. The word there is makwadash. All right. Sacred place, sanctuary, holy place. There you go. It says what? Of the temple. And we talked about this the other day. All right. 2 temples, okay, destroyed. 3rd temple to be built up is a spiritual temple, a spiritual house, not a physical building. All right. But in the ancient days, we had tabernacles that were built up and so on and so forth. We had, as we're reading in this chapter here, the Ark of the Covenant, the mercy seat, and all those things that come into play as we keep reading. Right. Look, this is beautiful because it says Ezekiel's temple. When you go to, oh man, I want to say like around 36, moving on to like 40, 41 is a good bulk of chapters. I can't remember. It's a general area, so don't take my direct word for it. It's somewhere in that general area where Ezekiel goes over the temple. All right, so you can read about that also in the books of Ezekiel. But it's a big chunk of chapters that Ezekiel covers. All right, and it's no different from what we're dealing with here. By way of Moses. All right. So I just froze there on my bottom screen. All right, here we go. So let's go back. So back at the NLT says, you must build this tabernacle and its furnishings exactly according to the pattern I will show you. Why? Because these things, there's not really a direct example that we can, well, it probably is, but as a matter of fact, like Revelation chapter 8, where it mentions what? The altar, all right? So we have an altar on the earth, right? We're not the patterns given. And, when it said, when we're supposed to build up altars, we just take stones, don't hammer, chisel them, nail them, or anything like that. Don't bang anything on them. Whatever stone you take for the altar, that is the stone that you're going to use, all right? Every stone must be that way when you're making the altar. But the point I was making is, because the temples would be a perfect example of that. We had what? The temples, we had the altars and things and other things, all right? And so with John the Revelator, he was given the vision of and I believe one of the portions of the subheading says scenes out of heaven. And this is what was happening when John said he was in the spirit on the Lord's day and so on and so forth. He was taken up in the spirit to see certain things in the heavens, all right? Paul, same difference, which his occurrence was a little bit different. It was through death. And then he said he wasn't going to speak on, because he mentioned the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd heaven, all right, which the third heaven, of course, being the spiritual realm. He didn't speak on it. But John the Revelator, all right, giving the visions, by Yahushua and then other angels dealing with him, afterwards, right? He actually recorded some of the things that were happening in the heavens. And what I was referring to make my point, like we often go into Revelation chapter 8, all right, when it talks, as a matter of fact, which see if we can pull it real quick. That'd be the best thing to do. Really, I can't get down at the bottom. Bear with me, y'all. All right, so let's do Revelation 8. Just in case it's someone new, so we can clearly make the point and see if we can find what we're looking for. Here we go. Perfect. So it says Revelation 8 and 3. All right, so the point I was making is that the things that are happening, or the things that we were given on the earth, is a shadow of what was happening, or the things that are in heaven. How you get Esau, different, they deal with the excuse me, like in Freemasonry, duality, the checker floor, as above, so below. What do you think they really kind of derive those things from? Okay, everything about the Lord they try to distort. Excuse me. So on the righteous end of things, all right, so the things that were in heaven were given to Moses and other men, but as of now we're dealing with Moses, all right. These patterns were given because these were direct, and that's why it says you must make them exactly as I tell you, because these were direct patterns as a fashion of the things in the heaven, and they were given to us to recreate them, all right, to mimic them here on the earth. So here's the example, Revelation 8 and 3, and another angel came and stood at the altar. You see, the altar. What altar? There's an altar in heaven, you see? So, and we were given what? An altar on the earth, and told to build it a certain way, because what's happening on the earth is a shadow, or no, a better word, a reflection of what's happening in the heavens. It says having a golden censer. Is that not part of what we have in the temple? And there was given unto him much incense, right? Because you will see the the priest with the censer. I almost don't want to go into it, but why not? We'll just get some extra here. Okay, we're just gonna roll with the spirit. Let me see if I can find. Here it is, golden censer. So it's not together. So let's just get censer. And let me see here. See, the gum exuding from a frankincense tree, which is beautiful. I've used frankincense incense before. Wonderful smell. I believe I've had myrrh incense as well. Also great. So let's get censer. Highlight that and Google punch that in. There you go. You see? Let's pull up the images to get you even better. And there's I think I hit the wrong button here. Okay, there we go. So bam, there you go. See, once again, Esau replicating what we do. All right, in the Catholic churches and all that kind of stuff. But this is what you would have seen. All right, in the temple. All right, the incense carrier. Okay, and the incense burning, and so look, he's putting the gum resin in there right there. And so these things were what? A reflection of what was happening in the heavens. So that makes more sense to you. You see, there's a good image of it right there and breaking it down. All right. So these were our things, but the heathens have taken it, or not all the heathens, but you get my point. Have taken these things and try to use them for themselves because they're pretending to be us. So they have to sell. They have to sell the fight, right? They have to sell it to the world, and the world has eaten it up. So back on my point, it says an altar having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense. You see, let me just read that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. Whose throne? What altar? There's a golden altar, and whose throne is there? See? So all these things were a reflection, all right, and a replica of what was happening in the heavens, all right? And John the Revelator really gave us a great vision of things that transpire in the heavens. And even so, as much as he gave us, those are low-level things, believe it or not, all right? Because the Lord's power is just beyond what we can believe. And certain things that are going on in the heavens is just beyond our understanding. We get some things in the scriptures, all right, like the angels going to and fro before the Lord and on missions and things of that nature, all right. But what really goes on, we have no idea, man. And once again, mentioning Paul, he didn't speak on these things either. John wrote these things down, not everything, but the things that the Lord allowed, All right, through the Spirit, John recorded. And so that's how we know about some of the things that happen in the heavens. Okay, even in the Old Testament, where he says that who would persuade Ahab. Those are things that happen in the heaven. Where do you think they happened at? Right before the Lord's throne, probably on this same golden altar. You see? It says, in the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, which you know the saints are the Israelites, ascended up before the highest out of the angel's hand. All right. It says, and the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And a quick note, all right, because it says, in fire from the altar. I believe there's somewhere where it mentions fire, like coming, like, how's it worded? Fiery, like the fiery throne or something like that. I forget exactly how it's worded, but before the Lord's throne or something like that. But it makes sense, okay? So, I mean, that point is made there. Just a quick point, just to, hit off of this scripture here in Exodus, all right? So, Lord willing, that was, understandable. And Lord, will you be edified by this lesson? So let's go back to, Exodus 25 and 9. You almost said Ezekiel. You must build this tabernacle and its furnishings exactly according to the pattern I will show you, because these things are a reflection of what's in the heavens, and we got to have it right. Okay. So goes on to the first section here. Says plans for the Ark of the Covenant. Right, plans for the Ark of the Covenant, because later on, I mean, you could say they started building it here, but we're pretty much just dealing with the plans itself, right? And here we go. What I was mentioning there, Exodus 37. All right. It's not showing on my screen. Okay. And this is also good. So Exodus 37 and 1 says, next, Bezalel. All right. I believe it says Bezalel in the KJV. Let's get the KJV. Yeah. And Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood. So here, like I said, this is where things were given to Moses. All right. So when you're reading like this chapter here, Exodus 37, it tells us, who's actually playing a part in this or whatever. Okay. And so on and so forth, the production of all these things. So in particular says, and Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half was the length of it, and a cubit and a half the breadth of it, and a cubit and a half the height of it. And he overlaid it with pure gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about. And he cast it 4 rings, all right, to be set by the 4 corners of it, all right? So it's pretty much telling us the same thing that we're going to read here, all right? But it just gave us an extra hint there, all right? Bezalel played a part in this construction. So it says, have the people make an ark of acacia wood, as we just talked about and went into, a sacred chest, 45 inches long, 27 inches wide, and 27 inches high, all right? And those of us that are good with measurements can probably visualize that. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. All right, but those that are good with measurements, all right, you can probably visualize the size of what this would have been like, right? Overlaid inside and outside with pure gold. All right. It says overlay it. All right. You got Jake today that think, they'll try to clown you if you got a chain and it's overlaid with gold because it's not solid gold. They say it's not real gold or whatever. Well, okay. But it was okay with this construction of this item. That was a holy item. All right. For the Lord's, what he gave to Moses. All right. For the children of Israel. All right. To follow. But Jacob try to clown you. You know why? Because they're worldly. It's all about money and substance and things of that nature, especially when you're dealing with women. Okay, woman will know nothing that you're about. But if you see you got something, like a nice car, or she see you got a lot of money or whatever, she's willing to do anything, all right, just to fund her lifestyle, and don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about your personality, anything, all right. But it goes to show you what they'll do for money. But that's a whole other topic. It says overlaid inside and outside with pure gold, and run a molding of gold all around it. Cast 4 gold rings and attach them to its 4 feet, 2 rings on each side. And this is very important because this went into the carrying of the Ark of the Covenant, right? Whenever it had to be moved, when we were moving, because we would travel, right, often, right? So, in which we get into all these things, right? Because it says it right here, make poles from acacia wood and overlay them with gold, all right? So make poles from acacia wood and then overlay it with gold, all right? So it's only gold, I think it's called gold plated, right? But the inside is actually acacia wood, okay? And these poles were to be stuck through the two rings on either side, and that is how it will be lifted up and carried and moved about. All right. Here it is right here. Insert the poles into the rings at the sides of the ark to carry it. There you go. Verse 15. These carrying poles must stay inside the rings, never remove them. So once that wood has been chiseled out and they overlaid it gold, all right, and allowed it to, however, harden up or whatever, then they would take after the construction of the ark, they would take the poles and put it in. Once they were in, that was it. No taking it out. Always there. Okay. Verse 16 says, when the ark is finished, place inside it the stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant which I will give to you. All right. And we go to KJV, verse 16. It says, and thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. All right. Which that's pretty much straightforward. All right. So it says, and it says inside it, right? So it says, then make the ark's cover the place of atonement from pure gold. All right. So the covering that will go over the ark. All right. Because of course it'd be hollowed out. How else would you put something inside of it if it's not hollowed out? All right. So there was a pretty much, for lack of better words, a lid. All right. A covering that was placed over it. All right. Which was all obviously made separate and then set on top of it. So it says, then make the ark's cover the place of atonement from pure gold. All right. Now make this from pure gold. Okay. So this molding would have been a very, very, very intricate task. All right. So it says it must be 45 inches long and 27 inches wide, which is according to the same measurements of above, right? Then make 2 cherubim from hammered gold and place them on the 2 ends of the atonement cover. And I believe the cherubims, are those the ones with, I believe it's the ones with the 6 wings. All right. I know it mentions the cherubims in like Genesis, what is it, chapter 3, when they got thrown out of the garden. All right. He placed 2 cherubims. Okay. Let me see if I can just, since I mentioned it. Actually, I probably just should have just wrote cherubim. See what comes up from that. I definitely almost passed it. Nope, because last verse. Yep. So he drove the men out, Genesis 3:24, and he placed it at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. All right. So bam. We get cherubims. I'm not sure if they would give us what we're looking for. Kararab. It's the word there. Cherub, which cherubim is plural. Cherub is the word. Cherubim is plural. An angelic being that's flanking the Most High's throne. So if those are the same ones, then those are the ones that are mentioned in Ezekiel 1, which has the face of a man, all right, the eagle in the back, the lion, I think is on the right side, the ox on the left, I forget which the right or left for the lion and the ox. But it's all symbolizing, the likeness of a man in appearance, okay, like the angel showed up in Cali, right? We didn't see the true image, though, because we'd have seen, probably what the prophets have saw, or Ezekiel in particular. But the lion represented courage, okay? And the ox represented strength, and the eagle represented flight, right? Eden image is an image form hovering over the ark of the covenant, which we're reading about now. It also says, as a charity of Yahweh. So yeah, this could link up with the ones that are mentioned in Ezekiel chapter 1. I can't remember because there's 2 different ones, I believe, that are mentioned. So I made that point anyways. I just want to read that real quick. So going back, Exodus 25 and 18, then make 2 cherubim from hammered gold and place them on the 2 ends of the atonement cover. All right, mold the cherubim. You have many archaeologists, all right, and at different excavation sites that claim they found the Ark of the Covenant, which is a lie. Because look what he did to the those Hamites, man. All right, sent hornets and everything. Gave them hemorrhoids and all those craziness. All right, from having the Ark of Covenant, okay, in their stronghold, in their camp. So you trying to tell me Edomites, all right, the most hated of the Lord, they're actually be able to get their hands on the Ark of the Covenant and nothing's going to happen to them? Nah, I ain't digging it. Okay, I don't believe that one bit. Okay. Also, we know that these images that they show, where they say the Ark of the Covenant looks like this, they don't really know. You know why? Because the last time the Ark of the Covenant was mentioned, it was in the hands of brother Jeremiah, and he hid it, okay? And it was never told where it was hid. And then the scriptures further, that's also in Jeremiah, all right, in the latter days, right, there shall be no more said the Ark of the Covenant, so on and so forth. All right. So it's not going to be necessary for us to, as Israelites, to have the Ark of the Covenant because we're not fighting. Yahweh and the angels are going to come down to fight. We're not going to fight. They're going to fight for us, all right? For the sake of the remnant of the nation of Israel, Lord will be of that number. So we're not going to need the Ark of the Covenant because the Ark of the Covenant would always be with us, all right, in the times of war, okay? So the Lord would demolish whoever we're going up against, all right, by way of the Ark of the Covenant, okay? So we're not going to need that again because we're not fighting. And if the Lord says, if the scriptures were written a different way, the men of Israel will rise up and they have to fight battles. I'm pretty sure at some point the Lord would actually reveal the Ark of the Covenant because we're going to need that. That would be our, that go between the Lord dealing with us on the earth. That was on that mercy seat. But the scriptures are not written that way. So, I'm just making a point there. So it says, mold the cherubim on each end of the atonement cover, making it all of one piece of gold. Right, of one piece of gold. All right, not making this piece and then try to fasten this piece together and that piece and that piece and that. No, one piece of gold with specific measurements. All right, the cherubim will face each other and look down on the atonement cover with their wings spread above it. They will protect it. All right. So, which some of these images sort of get it right. I believe I played a video in the beginning. Those things aren't exact. It's just for those of us who are not so visual, because I'm an artist, so I'm pretty sure any brother or sister, you're very visual when you're an artist. So and others people too. We all got imaginations, but some are greater than the others. So those videos are not exact. So don't get fooled by it. But it's just to give you, for those who are not so great with visualizing things, to give you a sort of a visualization of what we're reading here in this chapter. We'll probably do the same thing for the next chapter as well, if we can find something. So it says, with their wings spread above it, they will protect it. Verse 21, place inside the ark the stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant, which I will give to you. Then put the atonement cover on top of the ark. I will meet with you there and talk to you from above the atonement cover between the gold cherubim that hover over the ark of the covenant. Excuse me. From there, I will give you my commands for the people of Israel. All right. And we hear about that, as it talks about the Lord's train filled the temple. All right. That was him communing inside the temple, right? From where? The mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. All right. So now we move on to what it says here, the table of showbread. All right. The NLT says plans for the table. And it also links us right back with Exodus 37 again. All right. So going back to the NLT says, then make a table of acacia wood, right? So this acacia wood was obviously very special to the Lord, which is why he's telling us to use it. All right. I'm pretty sure if we did further research, we're not going to do it, but if we did further research, we'll probably, know that it has a good hardness and a very durable, or whatever the case may be. Might be something special. Maybe it has, is I don't know, might be very good against, water and weather or something like that. Who knows? All right, if you dig deeper and into that. But it says, then make a table of acacia wood, 36 inches. As a matter of fact, it's here. Oh, too much. All right. Acacia is a genus of trees and shrubs in the pea family, Fabaceae, however, with around 1,084 species. They are native to tropical and subtropical regions and are known for their ability to... Oh, I dropped it back. All right, here we go. For their ability to, there you go, adapt to harsh conditions. And we moved a lot, all right? And then it was overlaid with gold, okay? So there you go. Answer. Acacias are drought resistant and have long tap roots to reach underground water. All right. So these trees have deep roots. All right. So it says they are considered a keystone species, as most desert fauna rely on them for food and shade, which is beautiful because we were doing what? We were wandering around in the wilderness. Wow. Can't make it up, man. Can acacia get wet? Beautiful. Let's see what that says there. Yes, acacia wood can get wet, but it's water. Woo, there you go. See, water resistant, and which it really doesn't matter at the end of the day because it was overlaid with gold. But still, hey, we mentioned though, right? Water resistant and can handle some moisture. However, prolonged exposure to water can damage the wood. But as I just mentioned, it was overlaid with gold, so we were not going to have that problem anyways. Man. All right, so let's go on back. I think we got enough because I'm pretty sure there's more there. So it says, then make a table of acacia wood 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 27 inches high. Verse 24. Overlay it with pure gold and run a gold molding around the edge. Decorate it with a 3-inch border all around and run a gold molding along the border. All right. So it says, make 4 gold rings for the table and attach them at the 4 corners next to the 4 rings. Attach the rings near the border to hold the poles that are used to carry the table, which we already talked about. Make these poles from acacia wood and overlay them with gold. So he's doubling down on what he mentioned before up above. Make special containers of pure gold for the table, bowls, pans, pitchers, and jars to be used in pouring out liquid offerings, because we know that the priest would have to do a lot of different things within the temple. All right, and these are some of the things they would have been dealing with, as we just looked up the golden the incense thing, the incense carrier, right? That was a part of what was in the temple. Okay. So it says, place the bread of the presence on the table, remain before place the bread of the presence on the table to remain before me at all times. Let's get the KJV. Verse 29 and 30. All right, here it is right here. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal, of pure gold shalt thou make them. All right. It says, and thou shalt set upon the table shewbread before me always. All right. So there's always, beautiful, because when you're dealing with the account of David on the run, all right, fleeing from Saul and his men. Okay. Where he went, to get food. All right. And the only thing was there was the old shewbread that was getting changed out for the new. And he was allowed to eat it. All right. Which there came stipulations with that, because you have to be, dealing in a certain manner. All right. So David, pretty much like, of course, me and my men have been staying away from women. All right. You think I don't know this? All right. But we're still hungry. I think also he took that sword. All right. When he killed Goliath. All right. Because the Goliath sword was kept. So he took that sword. Goes to show you the spiritual power David had. That was a big ass sword, man. Okay. He took that sword and went carried it with him. Okay. Which, going back to the actual account, the same sword that he used. Okay. Or that he took in the battle. Used the same difference though, to cut off his head. So at the temple, that sword was still around and he grabbed it. He's like, okay, I ain't got no weapon. I'm taking this big old joint right here, and we're going to eat this just changed out showbread, all right? Because we need some sustenance, all right? But this is supposed to be there all the time. So when the fresh bread came in, you were able to change out the old bread because it was supposed to be there all the time. There's never a moment where there's not showbread, okay, before the Lord, okay? So it would constantly be made, all right, and kept fresh. And then, the old will be changed out and the new is brought in. So continuing on, all right, it goes on to say the golden lampstand, which Esau definitely goes off on. Maybe having those 9 I don't even know what to call it. Would you say 9 bars or 9 handle, menorahs and stuff like that? What is he doing? Okay. And as a matter of fact, because it makes me go back and think about, because I'm still, working on that a little bit. Just gathering some things, but as I mentioned the other day, the Ark of Titus. When you look at the Ark of Titus, all right, that is one of the greatest depictions that we can get of how the menorah would have looked. All right, even to shape and everything, which is a beautiful shape when you go into the the design of it. When you really, from an artist's eye, you can really see, the way that it was shaped. All right, it's like a perfect, contour of the shape of it. All right, but it's a 7 candlestick. All right, not 9, not 8, or whatever, not 6 or whatever. It's 7. All right. But on the Ark of Titus, all right, you see the candlestick being taken. All right, and you'll see that was probably the closest depiction of anything concerning, the ancient days and the temple and all those things, where people try to say that this design looks like that, which it's beautiful to see. That doesn't mean it exactly look like that, but we actually have that to see. All right, the golden lamp. What was that? Was taking the of course, the Ark of the Covenant. Was a table of showbread. And then the silver. What was that? The silver. I believe it was the pans. The pan utensils and things of that nature. All right, they were silver. So you see all those things, in the Arch of Titus, right? But we'll get to that in the lesson, Lord will, as we continue working on it. So it says, make a lampstand of pure hammered gold. Make the entire lampstand and its decorations of one piece. The base, center stem, right? The base, because that's the bottom that would stand on, all of it stand on the stems from. The center stem, which is the main one, the one in the middle, right? Lamp cups, buds, and petals. And it goes into this in detail when it talks about the knob here and this knob and so on and so forth, right? Make it with 6 branches going out from the center stem. So you have the base, and the center stem sits on the base. And then from the center stem, the other 6, all right, stem out from it. Make it with 6 branches going out from the center stem, 3 on each side. Each of the 6 branches will have 3 lamp cups shaped like almond blossoms, complete with buds and petals. All right, so let's see if we can pull this. Almond blossoms. So you kind of see it right there. Let's go down. So that was about the best as we can get there, as I kind of highlighted. You see what I'm looking at. All right, so it's not going to give us too much there, but you get the point there. So it says, moving on to verse 34, craft the center stem of the lampstand with 4 lamp cups shaped like almond blossoms, complete with buds and petals. All right. So it says there, which is why we pull that image up so you can, visualize, right? Because I'm pretty sure the video was okay, but, it's not going to be accurate, to a T. Probably not even look the same as it's being explained. Because if you read down here in the KJV, 3 bowls made like unto almonds with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch with a knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. All right, let's see what knop goes into. Bulb, knob, capital of pillar, knob, bulb as ornament. All right. So yeah, it says, and in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds with their knops and their flowers. All right. It says, and there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same. So what it's doing here is covering both sides at once. All right, one on either side. All right, and then another 2 that makes 4, and then another 2 that makes the 6. All right. So you understand what is, how it's worded here. It says, according to what? The 6 branches that proceeded out of the candlestick. So there you go. So it says, their knop and their branches shall be of the same, and shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold, which gets even more intricate than dealing with the ark, all right? And the lid and all the cover and everything, because this candlestick is there's a certain pattern to it, and it's all of one work, one solid piece. Okay, so this has to be created out of one solid piece, man. That was probably, man, could you just imagine how it looked in the light, man? It's crazy. Okay. So it says, and it says, and thou shalt make the 7th lamp, and we're going to get to experience these things in the kingdom, man. Things that we I'm looking at this wall of bricks right now. We're going to have a wall of gold. Furthermore, there's going to be gemstones in it. There's going to be a certain frequency and a certain energy just coming off of our, headquarters from Jerusalem. And then, those things are going to coincide with our bodies, the new bodies. And than just on a lesser level, but still wonderful. The light hitting it, okay, shining off the gold, shining off the gemstones and things of that nature. The agate windows, man, come on, man. I have not seen nor ear heard the things that the Lord had prepared for those that love Him that wait for Him. Okay, it's just gonna be, man, beyond crazy, man. Man, hey, man, wait, we can't wait to see it though, man. This is gonna be, man, this is gonna be heart melting. Okay, man, just thinking about it, just and the glow is gonna give, right? Because it's gonna be a city of gold, pretty much, mostly gold. All right. And so from a distance, you're gonna see the kingdom glowing from a distance because the sun's gonna be hitting it heavy, and it's gonna be reflecting all these different metals and stones and man, come on, man. Oh man, hey, the kingdom, man, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. All right, the candles, and the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. All right, let's get to the snuff dishes, right? It says what? Fire holder, censer, fire, as we just mentioned, fire pans. All right, snuff dish tray. All right, because you will have, sometimes you have to deal with that heat. Okay, so that was what those silver tools were for. Okay, let's see what this is. What was it, verse 38? The lamp snuffers and trays must also be made of pure gold. So it's just pretty much straightforward with that. But you see, we're reading, you will need 75 pounds of pure gold for the lampstand and its accessories. 75 pounds of pure gold for the lampstand and its accessories. Be sure that you make everything according to the pattern I have shown you here on the mountain. I did not expect us to hit the bottom of the chapter. It always happens, doesn't it? Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shewed thee in the mount. Doubling down, make it exactly how I said, to the measurements that I gave you. Make them according to the elements that I told you to use. Use those things. The acacia wood, overlay this with gold, make this solid gold, make this one work, do this, do that, build this, make the cherubim. Hey, do it exactly as I told you. All right. And it says 75 pounds in the NLT. But let's see what talent goes into. A round weight talent of gold, silver, bronze, iron. So a general measurement doesn't really give us too much there. But in the NLT, it does say 75 pounds. Okay, so there's nothing there. So let's see what our friend the AMP says here in verse 39. And we'll close it on out. And we'll probably get into my other lesson there, because I don't want that one to get stale, wait too many days to get it, because we can always get through these chapters here. So, yep. Its snuffers and the trays shall be of pure gold. It shall be made from a talent 50 to 80 pounds. All right. So, yep. Gives you a more general area, or a wider area, I should say. But still, it says 75 in NLT, 50 to 80. All right, in the AMP, and in the KJV, it just says a talent. So we understand that a talent will be somewhere around this weight. All right. It says 50 to 80 pounds of pure gold, including all these utensils. See that you make them exactly after the pattern which was shown to you on the mountain. All right. When what? As we mentioned before, Moses dealing with the Lord in his chariot. He was given all these things all at once. All right. When he came, then he came back down. All right. So that was the end of Exodus chapter 25. Lord willing, you will edify. To next time, Yasharala, I'm going to say Shalom.